are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Hello, I'm J-Law, but you can call me Justin, and welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Disney's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. If you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast covering the world of movies, TV shows, toys, collectibles, gaming, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for today's Behind the Geeks episode is the mythical god himself, Nate Shelton. How you doing?
Good, man. This was a lot of fun. This was a really fun interview and getting to chat with these. I always love it when we talk to kind of the younger group of actors, because they'll always surprise you. They'll always come out with sort of answers that they're always wise beyond their years. And now I sound like an old man saying that, but that's that's what I find, is that oftentimes you get some of the best answers from some of the folks who haven't been in this industry for nearly as long.
For sure. And for today's interviews, which we actually got to do together, which is the first time in person together interviews.
We got to hold hands.
Yes.
You won't see it in the actual interview. It's
no.
cut out, but we yeah.
No, and I think that the fact that this is definitely new for us is a new dynamic to have two people on screen, or to have two people conducting an interview. So this was really great. This was a lot of fun for the first time doing something like this. But why don't you tell our lovely listeners, if they don't know already, who we had a chance to talk with?
Yes, so we had the absolute pleasure to chat with Leah Jeffries, Aryan Simhadri, and Walker Scobell. Is it Scobell or Scobell? I guess it would be Scobell.
I
don't know.
Lean to you on the names. You know them best. But a huge thanks to our friends at Disney Studios Canada for setting up this interview and hosting this event in Toronto. We really are grateful for the opportunity to chat with this cast, and we had some good questions.
It was a lot of fun getting to chat with these kids about the series and kind of their approach to it, and we had some really I think we had some good interesting questions for them, and I also loved how actually I won't spoil anything. Why don't we let the listeners hear it out?
Yeah, geez, give them a chance to listen to the thing before you start spoiling everything. No, but I what I love about this, and maybe this is a good way to preface it, you can see the different styles of interviewing that we have.
We called it good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, and it's up to them to decide who's the good cop and bad
Yeah.
cop. But you have a lot more of those genuinely interesting questions that not people are thinking about, and that's great, because I think it really does shine in an interview like this. So yes, without further ado, here's our interviews with the cast of Disney's Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Hey guys, my name's Justin.
And I'm Nate.
Hey.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with us on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you all doing today, and how are you enjoying Toronto?
Great.
It's
and
really good. I saw some snow. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You're stoked about the snow. See, for us, we're like, no snow.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are not my friends.
We saw that cool that giant building that goes like the tall
CNN
one.
tower.
Yeah, the CNN tower. I want to go up there one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you really should. You can you can hang off it as well.
You can hang off.
Seriously?
it?
Oh no!
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not doing that.
No.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a thing.
When do
that
we
people do.
It'll
Yeah.
be that one day where the whole harness just snaps and I'm not.
That's it.
Oh, no.
That's it.
Like,
That would be dreadful. That's really
But you'd land in the snow. So you'd be
That's
happy.
True.
Yeah.
Perfect place to do it.
There you go.
awesome. Well, listen, we did our research. We know you guys are all huge fans of the book,
Mhm.
and I have to confess, we haven't read the books.
Shame.
And we feel,
All right.
feel like,
Forgive
but
you.
this is our first introduction to this world, and you guys being the fans that you are, I would love to know what is something that you wanted to bring to this adaptation of your characters. How did you want to adapt what you read from those books, what you loved from those books, into this live action TV series?
I think that Percy's sense of humor is very important to his character,
Right.
and the development of his character. So I felt like that was kind of one of the main points I really tried to hit.
Awesome.
I wanted to bring out her independence.
Yeah.
Really, I wanted to make sure that when I play this part, that I show both sides of Annabeth and not just always like, like when you're watching a show or a movie and there's that one person who's like always like super straightforward and like never shows emotion. You know that deep down inside, somewhere in this movie, they're gonna break. And I'm not saying that that's what Annabeth did in the show, but I'm saying that definitely I want to make sure that I show that she still has an emotional vulnerability side to her.
Yeah, it's stuff that she's still figuring out too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's very much the sentiment.
Yeah.
How about for yourself?
I think, among other things, Grover's physicality.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but I got to work with a great movement coach, and we kind of figured out like how he stands when he's happy, when he's nervous, when he wants to run, when he senses danger, stuff like that. And for a character like Grover, it's all about his physicality. So
Right.
Well, Aryan, Justin and I are huge Star Wars fans, and we heard that you folks filmed some stuff on the volume, which is super cool. I also heard that your first experience in the volume was stepping onto the Death Star.
yeah, a Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer, that's it.
Awesome. It was really cool.
It was really cool. They showed us. Sorry. For
No,
They showed us like. Yeah, they like played. I think it was from Boba Fett.
Right.
Like the show when they were in. I think they were in a Star Destroyer, or maybe it was the Mandalorian. But they like played the scene that they used on the day.
Right.
When he was walking.
Like I was
yeah, Stormtrooper
walking by.
crossed by. It looked so real.
So cool. Is there any sort of major differences that you folks noticed in terms of working in the volume versus working on a traditional set?
Yeah, I feel like when you're working on a traditional set, it depends on what you have there. Like, sometimes it could be just a blue screen, and then really, like, you're trying to put an imagination to something. Like, you're trying to see something that's not there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can have a real-life set where, like, you're in a house, and they built it all, so, like, you get to touch the things and stuff. And then with a volume stage, you have everything there, and nothing's missing, but it's not, it's like 2D. So,
Yeah.
like, like, you can't really pick it up, touch it and stuff. You have to act like it's there, but it's,
Yeah.
It gives you something to feed off of, though, right?
Yeah,
Rather than
exactly.
just
That's
a blue screen where, to your point, you have to imagine something. So that's
exactly.
great.
So it's like 2 jobs in one with a blue screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think there's a lot of people that would agree with that in the acting industry. Now, you guys are obviously not the only ones in this show. You're surrounded by some really talented actors, some veteran actors even, some would say. I wanted to know, for any of you guys, did you guys get any great advice on set?
We talk about Adam a lot. It's because we shared a lot of screen time with him.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing that I learned was from him. It wasn't even like direct advice, I guess, but he was just like telling us a story about like, how he almost dropped his daughter because like his hand like was messed up from wrestling.
Right.
So he had to get it fused, and he's like, this is where I maybe like put it down. And it was like he was just telling us how important family was to him. And I think just learning how to balance family and business and like professional work, that was a big thing that I got from him.
Speaking of being on set, I've heard there were some pretty epic pranks both on and off set. And Leah, I'm looking at you because I heard that maybe you were responsible for quite a few of them.
You guys did do your research.
Yeah. Well, who was the biggest prankster, and then who got pranked the hardest?
That's good. I'm sorry.
No, go
I
for
keep
it.
cutting you off. I feel like Leah is really good at setting like big pranks, but it's so easy to prank Leah.
Yes. It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard that you pranked yourself essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It, like almost backfired.
That was a great one. That was a great day, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually, quick thing that actually backfired on me.
Yeah.
I tried to prank Aryan. I tripped over the trash can, and then I tripped over the big, like not big. It was like a heavy mini fridge, and I literally had a heart attack. Aryan started bursting out laughing. Now I hurt myself,
True.
but
Prank's gone wrong.
yeah.
It's like, definitely.
Well, staking in this sort of, I guess, silly mindset, if you will, I've got maybe the strangest question I think you'll hear all day. Aryan, your character Grover is a satyr
Yes.
who is half goat, right? I want to know, and tell me if you've gotten this question yet so far,
Okay.
but for all three of you, if you could choose to be half of any animal,
I
What?
just asked this question to
asked
Walker
this
last
question
night,
yesterday.
verbatim.
yeah, and which half? Top or bottom?
I have not gotten that question yet. I'm so happy you
That is
asked
a great
that.
question.
Awesome. What do you think? And it can't be go. That's too easy.
Yeah.
You're already too used to it.
That's what we
Yeah,
talked about. We were like,
Small
it's kind of the
animal.
perfect
Yeah.
one.
Would you have a big head still?
I think that's
I
the.
think
I
that
think it
would
would still
probably
work
be the
that way.
running. Yeah,
I don't know.
Or would like the
You can
how,
maybe,
the
like,
lower
giant
half
hamster.
scale up.
Yeah, well, see,
Yeah.
that's the other thing too. Would it scale up and kind of match? So, like, I would always think of myself as the bottom half as being an otter. So would I be?
Ooh,
You know what I
that's
mean?
smart.
Right. So I could swim and
Swim around.
and yeah,
Hold
I
hands
love
with
otters.
your wife. Yeah.
Absolutely, my little daughter too.
Yeah.
Swim
around with
together,
otter.
so-
What
I
do you
love
guys
it.
think?
Well, I would choose goat because we were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
I think it's the best answer.
Yeah.
You get like speed, height.
Exactly.
They can climb on
Stability.
anything.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably a reason why it is a goat, right? Because of that.
I think other than that, kangaroo
Kangaroo.
Okay.
Kangaroo
I
or
like that.
cheetah.
Same logic.
or cheetah. Yeah,
Ooh.
I feel like I'd be a Black Panther.
Oh,
There you
that'd be
Or
cool.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Ah, that is pretty sick.
That's
That is
nice.
pretty sick.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
That's cool. Okay, so we started the interview by asking you guys, what you wanted to bring to these characters from the love of the books. Now, I'd love to know, what do you want to take away from these characters, or what will you take away from playing these characters?
What I would take away from playing Annabeth is her how do I explain this? Is her it's gonna sound really weird, is her powers.
Yeah.
Like with the hat. And when I say that, like, like sometimes in life you have to be invisible
Mhm.
to see how other people, live.
Mhm.
I feel like in days now and things and stuff, people don't always know what other people might be going through or anything and stuff. And I feel like, with that hat, like at any given time, I feel like I should put my hat on and become invisible and try to see what people go through without other people around and stuff. I know that sounds weird, like a stalker, but if you,
No,
if you-
I think
Yeah, I
the
get that.
sense of being observant of other things rather than maybe some would say complacent or just, passing by.
yeah.
Being very observant of things. How about Walker?
Well, I was gonna say the powers, but after that answer, I don't think I can. Thanks, Leah. I guess Percy's bravery,
Yeah.
in a way, or like the fact that he doesn't. If something's wrong, he doesn't just go with it. He has to say something about it.
Yeah.
He can't live with himself if he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think that's very important to his character.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Beautiful.
I think for Grover, he's a very empathetic character. He understands what people are going through, and that's just something he kind of understands naturally and on a very deep level. That's something that I've always valued in him, and his willingness to put himself in front of danger for the people he cares about. That's something that I try to at least emulate from day to day.
Awesome.
You'll stop everyone from doing the rope thing on the
Maybe not
CN tower.
because
Yeah.
I want to do that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll be right there along with
Yeah.
I'll be the one
Beautiful.
stopping.
There you go.
Actually, no, I wouldn't even stop. I'll just let them do it. I'd be like, look
That's
at
it.
them too.
Good luck.
Be like at the base of the CNN tower, just I got you. Don't worry.
I'll be recording. I'll be like, good job, guys.
I want to do what Jared Leto did and the Empire.
Yeah. You
Oh
see that?
gosh, yeah. Yeah, don't do that, Walker. We need you around. We need to keep you around. Yeah.
I'll wait till season 5.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Tom Cruise on the Burj Khalifa.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Jeans without socks on.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. All three of you are wonderful in this show, and we are very much looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
for the time, guys. And we are back. See, what did I tell you? It was a great interview, a lot of fun, great dynamic. I
Yeah.
definitely appreciated, given where I just left off before we got into this interview, the idea of the introspective. I got a lot of ums, and I made them think, which I don't know if that's a benefit or not, but I appreciated the fact that they still delivered some
Yeah.
really great responses to the first question and the last question that really have more or less them trying to, I guess, verbalize and vocalize what they wanted to bring to the character and then what they're taking away from the character. I think that's so great. Very grateful for the answers that they gave us.
Well, I loved Leah's, actually. I think might have been my favorite one for that last question there of getting to maybe take away and use the power of Annabeth's hat. And I think the idea of, we're on a podcast, so we love to talk, and that's what we do. We talk and we give our opinion on everything, but almost the concept or the idea of having that understanding to say, no, there are times in life when you have to take You have to take the back seat. You have to be a fly on the wall, and you have to maybe just observe and see what's in front of you and understand a little bit more without any of your own influence. I think that's incredible, and that was that was probably my favorite answer that they gave for that last question.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely hits that introspective part.
Well, especially for a show like Percy Jackson, and again, you're dealing with characters that are it's a magical world, it's a mythical world, and so absolutely you have to find that personal connection that you have to the character, and I love that they were able to even find something that they're able to personally take away. Now, as far as something I took away from this interview, Justin, you and your little otter family, that's pretty adorable.
Oh, of course.
I couldn't really think of a half an animal that I would want to go with. I liked some of their answers. I think kangaroo was a pretty good one. Black Panther's pretty dope. I think honestly, I might go with something that flies. If we're talking, because remember we had that whole aspect about like, does it scale up? Does it scale down? If it scales up, I'm going with like eagle, dude, 100%. I think that would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Ahead of a me in the body of an eagle, like let's
go,
me.
Dude. That's interesting. No, that's great. Yeah, and I really enjoyed. Again, I just like the dynamic of this interview, right? Like you get what I like to do with interview. You get what you like to do with interview by just
fun
posing fun questions and seeing how they react to it. And I think they welcome the fun questions. I think they've had a lot of probably the same questions or similar questions throughout this press tour. Even probably the questions that I asked were probably more or less something that they've gotten before, and so I think that they appreciated the obscurity and the hilarity in and around your questions.
Well, and shout out to the CN Tower. If anyone from the CN Tower is listening, get these kids on that rope experience. Do a promo with them. And just ask them to stop calling it the CNN Tower. I thought that was so
I'm not going to
lovely.
hold it against them. I didn't catch it the first time. It wasn't until we got the footage. I was like, oh yeah, they called it the CNN Tower. But hey, I'll forgive them. It's their first time into the city.
100%.
But it still was pretty funny that they called it the CNN Tower. I could see CNN buying the tower and making it their own thing. Before we kind of wrap here, I thought I would ask, we did get an opportunity to see the first two episodes of this show. I thought maybe as we wrap this Behind the Geeks episode, we might share our thoughts with our listeners who might be fans of the show, who might be joining us and checking out this interview on their podcast feeds to check it out, and our thoughts in regards to the show. I'll kind of kick it off. I believe based on what we were saying in the interview, for yourself and me, Nate, we didn't read the books. We didn't grow up with this series. We didn't have that in our childhood. But there's a lot of people that did. And this is really big for them to have this show, especially given the fact that the movies weren't well received, even by the original author, who is a part of this series. Rick Riordan is the writer and I guess very much the showrunner for this show. So there's a lot of amp and excitement behind this series. For myself personally, I did find that these first two episodes, they do a lot of groundwork, and they're very heavy-handed with the exposition to really set things up. And I don't know if that's a benefit or a detriment at this point. I do think that we move very quickly through some important elements, and given that this is, I believe, a 9 or 10 episode series, there has to be a lot of groundwork to be established. So I feel like they're moving pretty fast in the first two episodes. But again, I recognize that I might not be the audience that this is for. I appreciate a little more time, and as Rick has actually talked about, he enjoys the idea of translating this series into this book into a television series, because you can spend more time. But even in the first two episodes, I'm like, damn, like we've moved so fast through things. I'm like, it's pretty wild. So I don't know if it really hit for me off the first two episodes, because I was really noticing the pacing of just moving us very quickly through information, so we can, I guess, understand more down the road.
Yeah, I think it's again, I go back and forth myself after we've sort of talked about the show a little bit, and not being someone who's read the book, I'm wondering if the pacing would really, I think it's going to be one of two things realistically when a lot of book readers get to this show and watch it for the first time, where there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to absolutely love. I think there's a lot of things that I imagine the movies that this is doing better than the movies.
Mhm.
However, I think if I had read the books, maybe the pace wouldn't bother me as much. But then
Maybe.
there's other elements where, there have been moments where, believe it or not, I have read a book, Hunger Games, and gone into a movie and noticed the differences there. And I'm wondering if there's also elements that are being described and shown maybe way too quickly for some of those book readers who got to spend a little more time with it, right? And so it's
Sure.
one of those things. Like, I was talking to Darcy, one of our co-hosts, who has read the books, and I just asked him, like, how long do they spend on this part of the story? How long do they spend on this part of the story? And some of the things that he was telling me was that, yeah, they do have a decent amount of time sort of looking at certain moments that are a little bit, I don't want to say glossed over, but they are definitely rushed through. And as you said, there's a lot of groundwork being laid. So I think for me, I'm really hoping, because again, as we said at the end of the interview, like, we are really looking forward to seeing what happens with their characters and with this story.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to seeing sort of where they go with the show, and if it manages to sort of level out a little bit and maybe start showing us more rather than
Just
telling
telling
us.
us, yeah. Yes, the sentiments of show, not tell, I think is, we always talk about that, especially yourself. You always tend to talk about the difference between showing and telling, and a lot of stories struggle with, right? It's easier for them to tell than it is to show. There's more questions that get answered when
Yeah.
you tell versus
And especially
when
for
you
a younger
show.
audience, right? Where
Well,
maybe there
that's
are
100%
younger
it.
folks who haven't read the
I,
books
I
that do want to kind of get that speed ramp into the action.
I think that this is definitely a show that is for kids. It's tailored for kids, and even for the generation that would read the books.
Yeah.
The one thing that's really nice is that early reviews for this show, a lot of people like it. A lot of
Mhm.
people who are fans of the book, they're saying that there's a lot there. So I don't think that this is going to miss the mark for that audience. I think for myself, and as you've pointed out, maybe we're just expecting a little bit more with the story, a little more time with specific elements, because it does feel like things are moving very quickly. But I will say that the cast who
Is
we talked
excellent.
to today
Yeah.
is excellent, is they're the reason you'd stick around and would want to check this show out, because they are obviously young, and very much the central part of the story, but they're surrounded by some great actors. And I, even in the 2 episodes, we didn't get a chance to see Adam Copeland, who is Edge from the WWE
Mhm.
Toronto-based wrestler, who is in the show, and he plays Ares, a very influential character in this series. And even Walker has talked in numerous times the Ares fight, and people have
I'm looking
referenced the
forward to
Ares
it.
fight
Yeah.
in the book. So I'm very much looking forward to when we get to that part of the show, and maybe to your point, things will have leveled out. We won't be so expositional heavy. We won't be moving so fast. Maybe it'll be worth it. Maybe it'll be worth the why we moved through it. So yeah, I'm kind of like at a midpoint with it. Like, I'm interested in checking it out, but don't know what's next.
Yeah, I think you actually said you gave the concept of like being similar to the Harry Potter movies, and
Yep.
I love that idea. I really hope this series finds success for the audience that it's going for those book readers, for the lovers of this series. And I think, if it can, I mean, Walker, even in our interview, said he would maybe go up on the CNN Tower by 5th season. And so I've heard him in other interviews say that he is very much, like he said, maybe by season 3, maybe next season or what have you. And so it does seem to be sort of the general consensus, at least amongst Walker, that they are going to be doing more seasons of this show, that it is going to have a long lifespan. And I really hope that is the case, because if we can sort of get that similar progression of the Harry Potter series with this cast, I think it would actually be something really, really special.
It would be worth it
in the
yeah.
future. Absolutely.
It would be worth it. And to the point of like the Harry Potter example, referencing the fact that the first two movies were very childlike, and they were very tailored to the age appropriate, not just for the audience, but for the audience of the kids, the age of the kids. So the adventure was a little more tame. There was a little bit of darkness, but as soon as we got to Prisoner Azkaban, as soon as we got into more of like them teening up, if you will, the story started to get more mature, and that trajectory just kept happening as we moved through the movies, and I thought that was really smart. It almost aged with the characters. The stories matured. We got more. We got death. We got violence, and so on. And that was very reflective of being appropriate for the time. So I agree. I think that there is an opportunity with more more seasons to really adapt and mature and take it in the direction. So that is our pseudo review thoughts, reaction thoughts. But that is it for this special Behind the Geeks episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you enjoyed this interview and you thought it was great, feel free to leave 5 stars, or you can reach out to us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Geekcentric YT, or on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric. Also, if you want to see these interviews, you want to see our beautiful faces.
They're beautiful, by the way.
Which and the beautiful faces of this cast.
Yeah.
Well, you could do so by checking out this interview along with a bunch of other interviews that we have on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/geekcentric. We will have some cut downs and some highlight reels, if you will, that we'll be sharing on our socials like Instagram and like TikTok, where you can also find us at We Are Geekcentric. So some little highlight reels if you want to see the sort of Coles notes of these interviews. Be sure to subscribe to us on all of our social handles. But until next time, Nate, thank you for joining me for this special Behind the Geeks episode. And as we say,
love ya.
Peace.